Dive into the annals of Roman history and you'll find Macrinus, a Roman emperor who ruled for a brief period from 217 to 218. This man, a unique figure in the vast timeline of emperors, was born into obscurity, yet rose to the highest echelons of power. His story begins in the province of Mauritania, far from the heart of the empire where he was born to a family of equestrian rank. His rise to power was as swift as it was unexpected. Macrinus was a legal expert, not a military man, and his ascension to the throne was a departure from the traditional paths to power. His reign occurred during a tumultuous period in Roman history, marked by political instability and fraught with complex power dynamics. Macrinus, a man of humble origins, would become the first emperor who was not a senator, marking a significant shift in Roman political history. This shift would set the stage for the events that followed in his brief yet impactful reign. In the year 217, Macrinus ascended to the throne, marking the start of a tumultuous reign. His rise to power was neither expected nor conventional, as he was the first Roman emperor who did not hail from the senatorial class, but rather had his roots in the equestrian order, Rome's lower aristocracy. From the start, Macrinus faced a Roman empire fraught with challenges. The previous emperor Caracalla left behind a legacy of military extravagance, and the empire was on the brink of economic disaster. Macrinus immediately set to work, attempting to stabilize the empire by implementing economic reforms. He reduced the pay of the Roman soldiers, a move that was deeply unpopular among the military ranks but necessary to balance the state's budget. As an emperor who had risen through administrative ranks, Macrinus understood the importance of maintaining a positive relationship with the Roman Senate. He sought to appease the Senate, often deferring to their judgment on important matters. This was a stark departure from his predecessor, who had often been at odds with the Senate. One of the significant challenges Macrinus faced during his early rule was the ongoing Parthian War. Recognizing the severe strain this conflict was putting on the empire's resources, Macrinus made peace with the Parthians. This decision was viewed by some as a sign of weakness and by others as a pragmatic move to prevent further economic decline. Despite his efforts, Macrinus's early rule was fraught with difficulties. His attempts to please all parties often left him in a precarious position. He was caught between the Senate, who desired more power, the military, who felt slighted by their reduced pay, and the people of Rome, who were grappling with economic hardship. Macrinus's early rule was a constant balancing act, juggling the demands of the Senate, the military, and the people of Rome. His reign, though short, was marked by pragmatic decisions aimed at stabilizing an empire on the brink of chaos. As Macrinus's reign continued, he faced numerous challenges both within and beyond the borders of the Roman Empire. One of the greatest challenges he faced was the revolt led by a young and ambitious Elagabalus. A member of the Severan dynasty, Elagabalus was a formidable opponent. His claim to the throne was bolstered by his grandmother Julia Maesa, a powerful and influential woman within the imperial court. By spreading rumors that Elagabalus was the illegitimate son of the popular former Emperor Caracalla, Maesa was able to galvanize support for her grandson's claim to the throne. This was not just a power struggle within the imperial court, but also a battle of ideologies. While Macrinus represented the traditional Roman values, Elagabalus was seen as a harbinger of change, a symbol of the Eastern influences that were seeping into the Roman culture. The divide was clear and the stakes were high, but the internal power struggle was not the only challenge that Macrinus had to contend with. There was growing dissatisfaction within the military ranks as well. Macrinus, unlike his predecessors, did not come from a military background. He was an outsider, a bureaucrat who had risen to power. This did not sit well with the Roman legions, who saw him as an unworthy emperor. To pacify the military, Macrinus attempted to increase their pay, but this move backfired. The treasury was already strained, and the increased military expenditure only made matters worse. The economy faltered, and the citizens of Rome bore the brunt of it. The discontent grew, not just within the military, but among the common people as well. Macrinus's reign was a turbulent one, marred by rebellion and dissatisfaction. He tried to navigate the choppy waters, but the odds were stacked against him. His rule, which had begun with promise, was now overshadowed by the looming specter of revolt and rebellion. Despite his best efforts, Macrinus's rule was marked by upheaval and discontent, ultimately leading to his downfall. In the year 218, just over a year into his rule, Macrinus's reign came to a sudden and violent end. A shadow of instability loomed over his rule, a foreshadowing of the turmoil that was yet to come. The primary catalyst for his downfall was a young upstart named Elagabalus, a relative of the late Emperor Caracalla, and his ambitious grandmother Julia Maesa. The plots against Macrinus were brewing in the heart of the Roman Empire. Julia Maesa, a woman of immense wealth and influence, was driven by the desire to see her family back on the throne. She found in her grandson Elagabalus, a charismatic and youthful figure, the perfect pawn to stir the pot of rebellion. She exploited the lingering loyalty toward the Severan dynasty and spread rumors that Elagabalus was in fact the illegitimate son of Caracalla, positioning him as the rightful heir to the throne. The seeds of rebellion took root, and soon the legions stationed in Syria revolted, declaring their allegiance to Elagabalus. Macrinus attempted to quell the uprising, but his efforts were in vain. His soldiers, disillusioned by his leadership, began to desert him, tilting the scales in favor of Elagabalus. In a desperate bid for survival, Macrinus tried to flee, only to be captured near Chalcedon. His fate was sealed, and in a cruel twist of irony, he who had once ordered the assassination of an emperor now found himself at the mercy of his captors. Macrinus was executed, his brief reign ending as abruptly as it had begun. With his death, Elagabalus ascended the throne, marking the beginning of one of the most scandalous periods in Roman history. Macrinus's rule, brief and tumultuous, ended in a manner befitting the chaos that marked his reign. His downfall serves as a stark reminder of the volatility of power and the unpredictable tides of fortune that characterize the Roman Empire. Though his rule was short-lived, Macrinus's impact on the Roman Empire was significant. Macrinus, a man who started his journey from humble beginnings, eventually rose to the pinnacle of power, leaving an indelible mark on the annals of Roman history. His story is a testament to the shifting sands of Roman politics during his time. For the first time, Rome saw an emperor who was not from the senatorial class. This was a monumental shift, a break from a long-standing tradition that had been in place since the inception of the Roman Empire. This shift was not only symbolic, but also had tangible implications. With Macrinus's ascension, the door was effectively opened for men of lower social status to aspire to the highest seat of power within the empire. This change had a profound impact on Rome's political landscape, setting a precedent that would be followed by future emperors. But Macrinus's rule was more than just a political anomaly. He was also a reformer, attempting to address some of the pressing issues that plagued the empire during his reign. One of his key focuses was on the Roman economy. Macrinus understood the need for a robust and stable financial system as the backbone of a strong empire. He undertook several measures to strengthen the economy, though his reign was too brief for the full impact of these reforms to be realized. Another area where Macrinus tried to bring about change was the Roman military. He saw the need for a more disciplined and efficient fighting force, and to this end, he introduced several military reforms. However, these reforms were met with resistance from the military establishment, contributing to his eventual downfall. Macrinus's legacy is a subject of ongoing debate among historians. Some see him as a capable ruler whose initiatives were cut short by his untimely demise. Others view him as an ineffective leader, unable to secure the loyalty and support of his subjects. Despite these differing opinions, what is undeniable is that Macrinus's reign marked an important turning point in Roman history. His rule, though brief, was a period of significant transition. It was a time when old norms were challenged, new ideas were introduced, and the foundation was laid for the changes that would shape the future of the Roman Empire. Macrinus, a man of humble origins who rose to the pinnacle of power, left a lasting imprint on the Roman Empire, one that continues to be studied and debated by historians today.